Dynasty has looked almost unbeatable during one of their best years ever. It's a full field attack for the boys from San Diego this season, and they are looking better than they have since they dominated the paintball world years ago. There are absolutely no holes in their roster, and they have it in every position. Ryan Greenspan is playing his typical stellar paintball, and Oliver Lang has been a terror as well. Their coach, Rusty Glaze, has had no trouble getting reps for everyone on the roster. They've got longtime standout Brandon Short back from the broken hand he had during the beginning of the season, and the rotation of Kyle Spica and Captain Alex Frazier on the snake side has paid dividends, and their D side is just as strong, with Dalton Vanderbilt leading the charge. Though they lost to Houston Heat and Chicago, they are still the team to beat with 2 wins on the season so far. With 10 wins and 3 world championships, Moscow Red Legion is the most successful PSP team ever, but they've struggled in the first half of the 2013 season. After losing their first attackers on both sides of the field at the end of 2012, Moscow's had a hard time filling those positions with players that attack consistently and efficiently. After getting relegated down to the Challengers Division, they developed a new effective approach, blew the field away, and won every game as they fought their way back into the Champions League. Rookie Kevin Klum, veteran Kirill Pridny, Denis Golev, and last year's Top Gun Award winner Alexander Burnikoff are all playing well this season, and the whole Red Legion squad is looking for redemption at the PSP West Coast Open. So welcome back here, 2013 PSP World Cup with Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez and Chris Lasoya. Moscow Red Legion and San Diego Dynasty about to throw down here on the main field. San Diego Dynasty on your screen as they send Kyle Spica over here towards the snake side. Kyle Spica on your, or I'm sorry, Alex Frazier on your screen right now. And now Moscow making a big move over on the Dorito side, but not able to get it done and get in there alive. So now off to the races on the Dorito side and in the center.
Moscow Red Legion losing 2 bodies early. First man out on the snake side, first man out on the Dorito side, making that big move. Tries to backfill now from Dorito 1 to the Dorito corner. Kovar now gets shot out of the snake side can, trying to lock off the Dorito side as I believe that's Ryan Greenspan over there. Number 18 for San Diego Dynasty, pushing up the Dorito side. Yosh Rao up in the middle, locking that off. And here comes Alex Frazier, going to go from Snake 1 all the way to Moscow side of the field. And Biernikov is going to get shot. Only 1 body remaining now for Moscow Red Legion as San Diego Dynasty putting it together. Tyler Harmon over here backing up Alex Frazier. And San Diego Dynasty going to go up early on Moscow Red Legion. Good breakout, actually same exact breakout for both teams. But San Diego Dynasty able to get the first kills and then make those moves up the field. This field is really all about communication. Once you see the bodies drop off, the lanes drop. And if you don't make adjustments from across the field right away, the moves are open. Those gaps that are so hard to push through instantly become wide open. And smart players make that recognition and bump cross accordingly.
5 players alive for Dynasty at the end of that perfect point for them to start off this particular game. And Moscow Red Legion pushing a little bit too aggressively, I think, up on that Dorito side right away. And Dynasty, I mean, with that early in, they had that lane down there. And you can see the game matchups here as Dynasty, the only thing, I mean, they're pretty much solid across the board. I mean, how could you not be when you've won 2 events and taken second? And then Red Legion, you know, Red Legion, they've struggled a little bit this season, especially towards the beginning of the year. They've had a lot of, turnover the past couple seasons, and also they have Kirill, one of their veterans, one of their guys that you can count on in those important situations, on the sidelines with a torn ACL, or sorry, a torn Achilles tendon. Well, let's check in with Lauren, 4th member of our broadcast team. She's down the sidelines, looks like, with Tyler Harmon from San Diego Dynasty.
Hey guys, I'm down here in the Dynasty pit with Tyler Harmon. They're going up against Moscow Red Legion right now. You guys just got that first point. Yep. You started off super strong this season. 2 first place, 1 second. In Riverside, you got 5th. What did you adjust to make sure you get that first place again here at World Cup?
Just making sure all of our moves are focused and crisp. We want to really make sure we know all the angles so when we get into a spot we can get those kills really quick. Just focusing on ourselves and making sure we make crisp moves, I guess.
All right, well, we have 12 seconds. We'll see if they can make those moves.
Shout out to 12.
I'll tell you what, even though Dynasty is one of the most successful teams in paintball history with over 55 wins of their careers, they have not won a World Cup since 2005.
Well, I think they're hungry, and they're primed to win this one if they can just keep it together and play good to paintball. They've been playing all this year. Like you said, they had a 5th place finish last tournament, so up in the middle, like I like seeing Kyle Spica actually taking the walk, but up in the middle there.
Oliver Lang.
Oliver Lang going to work. That's exactly where I like to see him. That's
Chris, we were talking earlier before we started the broadcast, is we think Oliver might have a big event. You know, the center is a fortress, and when the center's a fortress, you see Oliver doing stuff like he's doing right now. Crafty player up there, and he gets 2-packs and 3-packs on run-throughs a lot when you have fields that are set up just like this.
Right.
The Riverside event was so tight. You know, Dynasty just barely missed the cut, but Oliver did have a great event, similar field, you know, as far as how that middle played. And I thought he did really well last event doing that. And if he could do it out here again, you know, things should go really well for Dynasty.
You know, and right there, getting one already, trying to get into Snake. That was number 80.
Kevin Klum.
Kevin Klum.
And that's been one of the questions for Moscow Red Legion. They've had Michael Kovar there, Kevin Klum. And Kevin Klum, towards the second part of the year, really kind of emerging as the more dominant Snake player over there, even though Michael's great as well. But Kevin getting a little bit more spins. But now both of them getting shut down over here on the Snake side. So they're gonna have to figure it out over here, because this Snake is dominant, man. I mean, we've seen Chad George going to town over here in that last matchup. And now Oliver Lang controlling the center of the field, shutting down this Snake side. Then he switches his gun over to the Dorito side. I think he should probably stay Snake side right now, to be honest, and make sure that, I think that's 52, that Kovar can't get over.
Yeah, as long as he keeps Kovar out of that Snake over there. He's got bodies on the Dorito side. They've got position. And if Kovar makes a move and gets shot, it's going to open up the middle of the field for Oliver Lang to do one of those run-throughs like we were just talking about. Michael Kovar trying to be smarter than that, talking to his sideline, trying to figure it out, make sure, because Brandon Short's in the Snake side can. He's watching the Dorito side. Glenn Takamoto is in the Dorito can. Looks like he might be doing a little bit of work on his loader right now. Might be having some issues. His gun's down. That's probably why Brandon Short is locking off the Dorito side for him. Dalton Vanderbilt over there in the small Dorito behind the 50 for San Diego Dynasty, as they still have their 4 bodies. The only body they lost so far.
Slipping a shot. Sorry, slipping a shot in on Mikhail Kovar is Oliver Lang. He was trying to peek out just a little bit too far, getting that edge. But now look at Oliver looking for that move up the middle. There's so many blind spots you can kind of tiptoe up, and that's exactly what Oliver's good at.
Yeah, and Oliver's just, he's talking it up in there. He's going back and forth. And you're looking at the D side cam. There's Blake Yarber for San Diego Dynasty over on the D side.
But in the haste, look at Oliver Lang looking the wrong way and slipping out to Mikhail Kovar's old bunker.
Brandon Short coming across from that Snake can, gets into Snake 1. He's going to work across the field. There's Bierdnikov right there. Now he's going to double back reverse, go into the Snake corner with the loop-de-loop move. And now he's got control of the wire. He's going to try and get some shots in on Brandon Short, who you can see right there in Snake 1. Oliver Lang switching back and forth is what allowed Bierdnikov.
You know, now watch Oliver. He's going to do the tip. I guarantee he kind of creeps up the middle a little bit, uses these bunkers to block out either the back corner or to block out the Dorito, and kind of tiptoe up the middle of the field to get one of those shots cross field that he's so known for.
Oliver's doing a great job this point, man. He's been up there the entire point. He's been talking it up this entire point. He's got a kill out of there as well as he shot Kevin Klum.
And somebody, I think, just conceded the point. You do have that option for you guys at home. If you feel the game is going to go to a stalemate and you're down by 2 points like Legion is right now, you have the option to say, hey, they're not going anywhere. Let's go ahead and press the button and say, look, we're going to concede this point. Let's reset to 5-on-5 paintball. You are going to lose the point, so now Dynasty's going to go up to 3-0.
Well,
at 2-0. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, Dynasty has dominant field position. No one's getting shot. We don't have, and we're losing bodies left and right. Like, let's just reset at 5 and go back at them full strength. We'll concede the point. Still just about 15 minutes left. So we'll be right back here after these commercial messages.
The 2013 season of the CXBL has officially come to a close. Thanks to all the players and sponsors for once again making the CXBL one of North America's greatest leagues. Stay tuned to buypbl.com on Facebook. The 2014 season is just around the corner.
So we are back, tracking all the fantasy points here for your players. Hope you're able to get a team in. Lots of people signed up for that, over close to 6,500, so it's pretty awesome. So here we go, 2-0. Red Legion needs to get something going here, as San Diego Dynasty playing some pretty solid paintball so far. And Alex Frazier, who's back on the field right now, 3 confirmed kills for him in that first point that he played. Oliver Lang played a great point up the center, and really think this might be one of the better field layouts for him that we've seen so far this year. And Dynasty going to play a real controlled game now. They're up 2. They know that Moscow's going to have to push forward. You give Dynasty any sort of advantage, I mean, their situational awareness is ridiculous. And Rusty Glaze does a real good job of putting players in specific spots and making sure they know what they need to do. Of course, these guys are, you know, they're so experienced. Oh, look at this, though, Yosh Rao. You don't see Yosh Rao die out of his spot very early, very often, but he has taken the walk.
Yeah, and Lukashuk really pushing hard again up that Dorito side early. Dove straight into that temple on the Dorito side, came up. Now he's in the small Dorito behind the 50, and he's shooting at Alex Frazier. Alex Frazier got 3 confirmed kills that first game. Forces Ryan Greenspan to fill from the snake can over to the Dorito can to try and get a better angle to lock off that Dorito side. He's got Dalton Vanderbilt right in front of him. There's Bierdnikov under screen. Tyler Harmon right now there in the snake corner behind Alex Frazier. Top left of your screen, that's Dalton Vanderbilt and Ryan Greenspan, San Diego Dynasty.
And Lukashuk actually trying to make the bump to the 50, gets clipped out by Alex Frazier, I believe, or Ryan Greenspan, I'm sorry. Great shot across the field, good looking out.
Well, now Malloy, Alexander Bernikov in the snake for Moscow Red Legion. He's the he's the defending Top Gun title holder, and that's another one of the things that we're going to see decided here at this event. Is Marcelo Margot going to retain his Top Gun leader, or as the Top Gun leader, or who's it going to be? I mean, there's about 6-7 guys that are in the running for that Top Gun award, the highest statistical best player in paintball, and last year it was Malloy. Let's check out Golev over there for Moscow Red Legion on the Dorito side, on that D side of the field. Golev looking back and forth. Golev, you can see by his body language, he wants to move, but he's just being contained in there.
The Dynasty they do such a good job at holding their lanes, knowing what they need to do in order to stop the pushes, and they wait for that G to come out, and then they switch, and then they have something else to do. They do their jobs very well, and they're very disciplined.
Very patient.
Yes. I was never good at that. Chris, hold this lane.
No, you weren't. You're good at the opposite, though.
Yeah, thank you. I mean,
we need someone to go up the center and shoot everybody. Chris, you're only going to take 2 pods. That's all you're going to need.
Perfect.
So here we go. Now with moves being made as Kovar backs up Bernikov in the snake for Moscow.
And also top side of your screen, Moscow Red Legion getting that 50 Dorito over there too, Maddie. So they got a pretty good spread across the field right now.
Yeah, Moscow's definitely in putting themselves in position here to start attacking. And there goes Malloy as he bumps up here into the center, try to get an angle. And so let's see if this slow play strategy that Dynasty is using. And then, wow, Malloy bumps right back. Didn't like that spot. Immediately comes back. So now Dynasty's trying to figure out, wait, is he still there? Did he head back? And this, Dynasty going a little bit conservative here, actually very conservative as Frazier just dug in here in Snake 1.
If you watch the Red Legion a lot, it feels like Bierdnikov can just fill wherever he wants, whenever he wants.
It's just so weird.
The reason why is because that guy is so smart. He has such an understanding for the game and where people are looking. He's very good at communicating, even though it doesn't seem like he speaks at all. He listens very well to his sidelines, and he understands blocking people out so well. He is able to see where people are looking, make moves up the field. and his timing is just impeccable. So right now, working down the wire, we got Kovar on the snake. That's Golev right there in the 50 Dorito.
You know, I think this is, we're probably going to see more of this out of Dynasty. I think Dynasty's strategy is like, hey, if we go up any points at all, we're just going to dig gigantic trenches in our bunkers and hold them off. But that's not working right now, as it looks like Glenn Takamoto gets shot out of his bunker. So now Alex Frazie's going to have to try to win a gunfight with Biernikov, and he does. Alex Frazier, the crafty veteran, destroys Malloy, who had made it past the 50-yard line. So nice job by Alex Frazier staving off the attack. Now Kovar's going to dig past behind him.
They're down to 2 players. Jason Wheeler on the far side, Mikhail Kovar on this side. You can see Jason Wheeler on the top right side of your screen at the 50 Dorito trying to shoot down the wire against Ryan Greenspan, against Alex Frazier and Tyler Harmon on the snake side of the field as well. Great slow controlled play here by both teams.
Well, I hope that Alex Frazier brought 15 pods to his bunker, because as soon as he got to snake 1, he didn't look like he wanted to move. I think that's deliberate, though. And now that he sees the opportunity, because, you know, Kovar had to bounce back. Kovar had to bounce back to that back bunker, which opens it up for Frazier to make his move. So Frazier has now passed, he's into snake 3, and he won that awesome gunfight with Malloy earlier on. So Alex Frazier is playing some awesome paintball here, and it's 4 confirmed kills for him.
You know, when Jason Wheeler on the far side of the field taking the walk, Alex Frazier finishing it off. I think they conceded the point at the very end there. So going up another point now is San Diego Dynasty against Moscow Red Legion on the long drawn-out point. I think that was the longest point we've had since this.
Definitely the longest point we've seen so far. So with 9 minutes and 17 seconds, it's been all San Diego Dynasty. Moscow not able to push into the guns of San Diego Dynasty. We'll be right back after this.
A&S Gear is having their World Cup Super Sale. We've got A&S pods for half off. A&S gas tanks starting as low as $99.95. We've got swabs so cheap that you can throw them away. You can get Nelson paint arriving at your door, $31.95. Jerseys, we've got them starting at $4.95. And pants, starting at $29.95. Shop now at ansgear.com and don't miss out on the biggest paintball sale ever.
One of the fundamental issues with traditional paintball markers is the loader on top of the gun. To eliminate those issues, we integrated the loader directly inside the gun. You're not going to have a hopper being a big target for your opponent to hit, and your field of vision will not be restricted anymore. We've done a ton of field testing with different tournament players, different employees. Nobody wants to give this gun back. It's badass.
So San Diego Dynasty implementing a very defensive strategy here as they're up on points. And, you know, that makes some sense because Moscow is going to be forced to push into the guns of San Diego Dynasty. So Dynasty getting into some good spots and then locking it down. And Moscow is now forced to push forward. 9 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Looks like a timeout being called. Moscow Red Legion trying to slow the momentum here of San Diego Dynasty. The question is, what sort of breakout is Dynasty going to come out with here? They don't really need to risk anybody, but are they going to send somebody up the center? Are they going to send Oliver up there up the break? Oliver is out there, and he did a masterful job of controlling that center in the second point. Alex Frazier is just stunning so far over here on the snake side for San Diego Dynasty. 4 confirmed kills for Alex Frazier.
You know, I want to see Moscow Red Legion get up the middle of the field. I want to see them get up there, try and do some work. I mean, because right now what they're trying to do, they're getting out to the snake side, or they're not getting out to the snake side. But when they do, even when they do get out there, they're still getting contained.
Yeah, they're trying. They are. You know, Kevin Klum was trying to get out here, but he got shot. Kovar, same thing. First point, he got out. He got shot though. Kovar was the last player left alive essentially for him that last point. But somebody's got to figure it out, man. Somebody has got to figure it out. They need to move up the field. And because Dynasty now up 3 points, they don't need to do anything. They could just let 9 minutes and 17 seconds tick off this clock and take the victory. And because Dynasty feels a little bit of pressure to do well at this event. They've had a great season, so I mean, they could, no matter what happens to Dynasty, they still can say, hey, we had an amazing 2012 with 2 wins and a 2nd place. But they are always hungry for greatness. That's one of the defining characteristics of San Diego Dynasty, and one of the reasons they have been able to achieve that, because they expect that out of themselves. And it would be really great for that franchise to have a good showing here at World Cup, because historically, again, arguably, well, not even arguably, they are the most successful team of all time, and with over 55 tournament wins. However, they haven't won a World Cup since 2005. So they definitely want to get in here and prove to the world, you know, hey, this was our year.
On the flip side of that, Moscow Red Legion has been very successful. They're used to winning events over here at World Cup. They fought their way out of the Challengers Division in Chicago, made a top 4 at the SoCal Open out there in Riverside, and you know, looking to carry that momentum from Riverside, because they really came out and just blasted people to bits, and then had a really good event in Riverside, which kind of brought them back together, you know, kind of gave them a lot more confidence. But here they are now, down 3 points. Let's see if they can use some of their clutch ability to get back in this game.
Oh, and so we were talking about it in Moscow. They send, that was Lukashuk, no, it was Pavel Karslev. Tried to get out here, sent him to the snake off the break, but he got destroyed. And then Blake Yarber comes off early for Dynasty, though, so we have a similar situation as we did last point, where it's 4-on-4. Moscow, though, they are going to be forced to be the aggressor as they start moving up that center.
And that's why I like seeing that, because right now you got Dynasty trapped in the middle. Brandon Short, he's got a great line down the field. He's containing 3 different players right now by himself. So with that said, you know, right there you can see Dynasty, there's Brandon Short, Kyle Spica, all stuck in the center. And that's also Oliver Lang.
But Moscow, Chris, sorry, but Jason Wheeler, man, got up in the center and got just destroyed up there.
Yeah.
It was a good move to get up there, but he got shot out of his spot. And so, actually, no, I think that, yeah, that was Jason Wheeler, I believe, number 89, walking off.
What's killing Moscow right now is that they keep losing bodies first. They're risking bodies out wide. Dynasty is shooting them on the break and then digging in. Dynasty's locking down lanes, and it's forcing Moscow to have to push through those lanes with heavy guns, flood and paint with smart technical players like Glenn Takamoto and Brandon Short right there on your screen. And they're not going anywhere. Dynasty's not giving away any bodies. Moscow is really good at capitalizing on when they're down bodies as teams charge into them, and then they even it up. But Dynasty right now being more disciplined, not giving those bodies up to Moscow, and forcing Moscow to attack into them down bodies.
Yeah, so Dynasty now, Kyle Spica getting a spin for Dynasty is, I can understand why they've been playing Frazier, because Frazier's been having a day out there. But now Kyle Spica getting it done. He's in Snake 1, backed up by Brandon Short. Brandon Short makes the move, and on your screen, Moscow able to make it into the Snake, as they have, again, Malloy, Alexander Bernikov gets in there. So consistent. He's good at everything. There's not one bit of the game that he's not good at, though he did get shot, and I was going to say he got shot by Frazee last time, and then he gets dinked out trying to get around and trying to play aggressive, and then Kyle Spica launches all the way past the 50-yard line, and Moscow is going to concede yet another point here to try to conserve as much of that clock as possible. The issue with that, though, with just 6 minutes and 53 seconds to go, man, they don't have much time to make something happen here.
Yeah, you know, and I just don't see Moscow Red Legion stepping up to the plate right now. They're just not getting it done. They're not getting down the field. And well, even when they are getting down the field, they're not being effective. They're getting shot out. And it just seems to me like they don't have the drive. They're, Dynasty's just, shooting. Dynasty's playing, on the lowest thing on their bars is their defense. And right now, their defense is actually winning this game for them. They're not playing real aggressive like they used to. They're chilling out. And actually, I like seeing this. I like seeing them play
well,
this.
This is a very tactical game right now, because you notice, I mean, when the opportunity presented itself and the lane was very open, they're going to take that lane, and they did send Oliver aggressively up the center that second point. But once they secured that lead, it was like, okay, look, because they didn't play defensive the first 2 points. They played solid the first 2 points. Alex Frazier's over here, dominating guys on the Snake side. Oliver got up the center. But once they put those 2 points on the board, they were like, all right, look, now we're gonna take our spots and force you to come. And they feel like, hey, we feel we have got this field down well enough that they can do that and isolate those Moscow players. And they've been able to do it. Sometimes that's not always the best way to go, because we've seen that before. I mean, that's actually one of those paintball cliches where it's like, okay, well, we went up some points and we started playing defensive and let them get back in the game. I've been in situations where we tried to do that to Dynasty and they came back. But once they went up those 2 points, it's just been bring the entrenching tools, let's put up our fortifications and just work those angles. But again, that's not a knock against them. It's a smart strategy, and they're implementing it well. But that's the thing. You got to execute on that strategy. You got to have guys that are winning gunfights and guys that are actually holding those lanes down. And since Dynasty's doing that, it's working for them right now.
Right, and trying to come up the middle, you see right there, up the middle, getting shot on the break. I believe that was Jason Wheeler once again. You know, you said it best, Todd. Getting up the center is great and all, but just getting there is half the problem because there must be some huge lanes. I see some guys getting shot pretty much out of this flag station.
Oh, and Moscow Red Legion losing a couple bodies early. Berednikov trying to come up the middle towards the snake side, maybe come across to the snake, but Moscow does get one kill now off the Dorito side, then tries to make a big move and does make it into the 50 Dorito. But nope, doesn't make it. He gets shot, he comes out. So Red Legion again trying to force moves into Yosh Rao's gun. Yosh Rao chops him up. And here comes Ryan Greenspan for Dynasty up into the middle of the field. Kovar continues to attack the Moscow Red Legion. He dives into Snake 3 and blows Ryan Greenspan to bits without him recognizing that he had just dove in there.
Well, Ryan had made that move staying out in the blind area in the middle of the open, not knowing that Kovar had made that move. So Kovar, good job by Kovar to get up there and utilize, hey, I know where my lane is right away. He pops up, destroys Greenspan. So Greenspan comes off, and now it's up to Alex Frazier again over here on the snake side to try to win a gunfight against Michael Kovar. 3 players left alive for both these teams. Tyler Harmon, Yosh Rao, and Alex Frazier left alive for San Diego Dynasty. Moscow Red Legion has Pavel, Denis Golev, Michael Kovar. Then Kovar gets run down by Alex Frazier. So Alex Frazier is having a field day over here on the snake side of the field.
This is a great field for him, actually, snake-wise. You know, great field for Oliver Lang, center-wise. You know, so I just think that as this tournament progresses, I really believe that these teams are just going to get much, much better, as they always do. But for this team in particular, I think this field plays well for them.
5-0 is the score. 5 minutes and 14 seconds to go. We'll be right back after this.
How many countries I've visited, how many miles you've traveled,
how many paintballs you've shot at different people,
how much baby powder I've used, how many hotels we've trashed,
how many places I've driven,
how many guns I've gone through, how much I love the game.
All the times that you had to tell your family that you couldn't be there for this or that because you were going to play paintball.
How many friends I've gotten out of it.
That's just why I love paintball.
That's why I love paintball.
That's why I love paintball. Well, that's why I love paintball.
So here we go, Dynasty and Red Legion. Legion getting skunked right now. We have to say goodbye to Todd Martinez as he goes off to coach Omaha Vicious to try to win some games in the Challengers Division. We'll be back later this afternoon. And now Dynasty with this dominant lead, 5-0. It's all up to Moscow. Can Moscow push into the guns of Dynasty? They have not been able to do it yet. It's been a huge struggle for them so far this game, Chris.
And right there, number 77, getting a spin. Anton going to work in the snake side. They lost Kyle Spick on the break. Also losing Glenn Takamoto. But look this shot across the field that he has. Oliver Lang getting shot in the back, as you see. And here they come. Moscow Red Legion going to put a point in the board.
Well, yeah, and it looks like you know, we're seeing some new names out here for Moscow Red Legion as they've had some hits to their roster. It doesn't look like Pantalev is out there, and I know for certain that Kirill obviously had that disastrous Achilles tendon tear that he's going to be out for 5 to 6 months for. But Anton Kuchagaskev is able to get out there and get it done finally, and he ends up getting, it looks like, he got 4. So wow, the rookie for Moscow gets out there and gets 4 confirmed kills. Nice job for Anton. Solid work for him in the snake. So finally someone playing the snake well for Moscow Red Legion. And it's been hit or miss for him this year. You know, I mean, Kovar's great, and he can play solid on the snake, but hasn't really played up to his potential yet for Moscow. Kevin Klum looked like he was getting it done for past couple events, but you know, haven't seen much out of him so far in this game in the opportunity that he got. And then they throw the rookie in there, Anton Kuchkaskev.
Goes to work.
And he goes to work, clocks in, gets himself 4 kills, and you know, still with 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go, it's going to be tough for Moscow to get back in this match, especially if Dynasty keeps on those lanes that they've been on all game long. But Moscow really needs to fight back here and get some points on the board, because even if they lose this match, these games or these brackets are always so close. A lot of times it comes down to point spread, and if you get, you know, 7-0'd or 7-1, 7-2'd, it's really not going to help you as you progress through the tournament unless you win big in your next games.
Yeah, you got to get back to 0. I mean, at the very worst. But some of these teams get beat up 7-0. You know, you're going to go on -7. You know, what that means is you lost by 7 points here or whatever. You know, it ends up costing you, like you said, Maddie, in the long run when it comes down to the fine line.
Yeah, because each one of these teams plays 4 games in the prelim, so you only have 4 games to, you know, to try to prove yourself that you're one of the best 4 teams. Only 4 out of the 10 advance on to the semifinals Sunday morning. And then you're going to have the bottom 4 teams play the relegation games, and that is not a position you want to be in. Moscow's been there before. Ended up fighting back, though, as they are back in the Champions Division. But they now lose. Looks like Jason Wheeler trying to get up in the center. So Jason Wheeler struggling in the reps that he's got. Gets shot off the break. Not a lot you can do about that sometimes, though. But off of that, looks like Malloy is able to get here into Snake 2 as Dynasty loses Alex Frazier off the break.
And here comes Malloy trying to get down the field.
Ooh, so Yosh getting shot out of his bunker too, so that's 2 early deaths for Yosh. Don't really see that very often, and it looks like Ryan Greenspan takes the early walk. So here comes Moscow Red Legion starting to win some gunfights and make some moves. And they're going to put another point on the board, so they switch up the roster, switch up the starters a little bit here.
And again, here comes Anton.
I don't know who this Anton Kuchkaskev. Yeah, Kuchkaskev. I don't know who this kid is. He's new for Moscow Red Legion, but man, he is definitely starting to, you know, get out. He's getting his reps. He's getting his kills. And for, you know, the 2nd point in a row, the only 2 points that Moscow's won, as long as that. Oh, the bad hang. So
no.
Just when we were starting to sing this kid's praises, he ends up hanging with a hit.
And the worst part is they had 2 other players in the field.
Yeah, so in that situation, if you're taking heat, if you're in a situation where you've been in an active gunfight or maybe made a move you weren't exactly sure you made it in clean for, you definitely want to make sure that if you got guys left alive that they check you over or just let them hang it. But, you know, in his haste to hang that flag and save the time with 3 minutes, 37 seconds left to go, minor penalty assessed on Anton, so the score is still 5-1, and Moscow going to be forced to play down a body. We'll be right back. So welcome back here. We are potentially going to see the conclusion of this matchup with 3 minutes, 37 seconds to go. And it looked like actually it wasn't a dirty hang in the sense that that Anton hung it with a hit. He got chronoed, as they do after you hang the flag, and he had a slightly hot gun. So going to be, you know, hey, you can't shoot over 300 feet per second out here. You can't shoot over 12.5 balls a second. And so his gun was a little hot, and because of that, now Moscow doesn't get the point, and they have to start down a body, and they'll be playing with 4 for the next minute.
You know, and you can't do that. 5-1 in favor of Dynasty. 3:37 left on your screen. Moscow Red Legion digging out.
And here comes Oliver, back up in the center. And Oliver makes it up. Looks like Oliver makes it up alive and starts chopping people up.
Yeah, Moscow Red Legion losing 2 on the breaks. That puts them down 3 bodies. It's just not looking good right now. 5-1, 3:18. I'll look for Oliver. Just going to kind of tiptoe through. He shoots another one, and here he comes. He's probably going to take the last one. They conceded the point. That was Mikhail Kovar left over. And that's just, man, it's tough. It's tough to dig out of that situation when you lose 2 in the break and you already had 1 in the box.
Well, it's also really tough to concede that to make a game point. I mean, they didn't concede. Obviously, you're not going to concede the winning point. But Now it's 6-1, and another one of those points where Dynasty, you know, just like the first point, 5 alive for them. No one got touched, and another successful jaunt up the center for Oliver Lang. And it's going to be tough now that they are going to get that body back, though. Those minor penalties, 1-minute minors, they come off the board if you lose the point. 2-minute majors stay on the clock the entire time, whether you win or lose the point. And so, yeah, it's just not looking good right now for Moscow Red Legion. Let's check in with Lauren Kelly on the sideline. She has an update from the Challengers field.
Thanks, Maddie. The Dynasty versus Russians game is underway, but I wanted to bring you an update from the Challengers field. Top Gun versus Royalty was playing. It was a back-and-forth game, tied 4-4 until Royalty took the lead, won 7-4. That is a 2-0 win for Royalty today. They've won both matches. Now up is CEP versus DMG. As of right now, DMG has the lead 2-0, but I will keep you updated.
Thanks, Lauren. Up the 2 professional leagues, champs and challengers, 10 teams in each. The top 2 teams from the Challengers division will bump up, and they will play in the Champions League for the first event of 2014. But it's interesting because that happens every event, so it makes it very chaotic and fascinating what happens out on the field with the champs and challengers, because you're always fighting for something. You know, there's no gimme games, and I think that it's been awesome to see the Challengers League so far this year, because it's given these teams a little bit more of a chance to get down there and prove the right that they earn the right to prove that they deserve to play in with the top 10 teams. And it's helped out teams like Moscow, for instance. So now Moscow, though, not looking good here against Dynasty, but at this point, able to get, it looks like, a kill off the break on the D side. So 4 players left alive for San Diego Dynasty from the snake on over to the center.
And that was Dalton Vanderbilt taking the walk on the Dorito side of the field. Haven't seen many spins out of him this game. And here comes Moscow Red Legion coming up the middle of the field. Very aggressive, taking out Alex Frazee, Ryan Greenspan, Tyler Harmon, and everybody, Yosh Rao, all go down at once.
Hey, Chris, this is good to see, though, if you're a Moscow Red Legion fan, because regardless, win or lose in this match, and it looks like, you know, even though they're going to put this point on the board, they're still down 4 with only 2.5 minutes left. So it's going to be almost impossible for them to come back and win. But when you come out and, you know, a lot of times when you see teams start to get put against the wall, they start to crack, and they'll just lose those next points real fast. Guys getting shot out of their bunkers. But in this specific situation, now looks like Moscow's got some fight in them, which is great to see, because if they do lose this game, they still got 3 more games left. And again, each one of these teams in the 2 divisions here, 5 teams in each division, you're playing 4 games each. And it comes down, obviously, to win or loss, but then it also comes down to point spread. So it's good to see the fire here in Moscow Red Legion pushing forward aggressively. And let's take a look here at the schedule for the rest of the day, and also the games that have gone down so far. San Jose Royalty took down Sacramento DMG 7-3 early on. First game of the day, and then Chattanooga CEP lost to Texas Storm 7-3. And then a real close match, man. One of the best game we've seen so far. Upton 187 crew squandering 2 separate opportunities, and Houston Heat had a dirty hang. So it was crazy, but he ended up pulling the victory 5-4. And now we got San Diego Dynasty Red Legion. But next up, Los Angeles Ironmen going to take on Upton 187. And then also let's check out Saturday's schedule just so you can plan your day. We're going to get kicked off in the morning with some Champions League teams. Red Legion and Upton 187 crew, and then Heat, Ironman. And also, you know, we got Vicious and the New Jersey Jesters from the Challengers League, and Seattle Thunder and Sacramento Excessive. So if you're fans of those teams, you know, you definitely are going to want to tune in and check out their games here on the webcast field. And then not only that, man, but I can't wait to see who fights through from the divisional ranks, because, yeah, we're watching the best teams in the business throw down right now here on this main field. But there's over 400 teams here at the World Cup, which is just insane. This is the biggest tournament in years. Paintball's looking real strong. Got 10-man UWL Ultimate Woods Ball League. Tom Cole doing a great job of running that thing. And we'll keep you updated as much as we can with scores from the divisional ranks and from the UWL and 10-man. So here we go, Moscow Red Legion. And it looks like they lose Dennis Golev early. Dennis Golev getting some work done out there for his team this particular game. 5 confirmed kills for him. San Diego Dynasty 1 point away from taking this win. 2 minutes and 6 seconds remain. Dynasty with 5 players alive. They got Oliver Lang, Brandon Short, Kyle Spica, Glenn Takamoto and Blake Yarber out on the field, and now on your screen, Moscow trying to get up in the snake, and looks like Michael Kovar is going to get shot out of there, and he immediately, well, it looks like I thought he was going to rip his pack off and check to see where he got hit. But regardless, he takes the walk early, trying to push aggressively, but hey, you know, hey, at least he's going forward. That's all that they really can do right now. They don't have any time to lollygag and chill out in their bunkers. And then Moscow also losing player on the Dorito side is Pavel Lukashuk. He takes the walk early as well, dies out of his spot. Time ticking off this clock, Chris, is not looking good.
Yeah, Oliver Lang and Blake Yarber also taking the walk. 2 players left right now for Moscow Red Legion, both pretty much in this side of the field, on the snake side of the field. Jason Willer and Alexander Brezhnikov, you know, and they're going to concede the point, it sounds like, and just call it a day. I think, you know, I understand. Actually, I don't really quite understand that.
Did they really concede the point?
Yeah, I don't really understand why they did it, but I mean, that's going to be game over, going 7-2 in favor of San Diego Dynasty.
Well, hey, what are you going to do? I guess, look, you lost. I just on general principle alone, I would never, I'd make you walk that flag in.
Absolutely.
And but hey, Dynasty playing phenomenal paintball right now, and Blake Yarber's got some kills out there. Glenn Takamoto had 4. Oliver Lang had a great game, 5 confirmed kills for him. Alex Frazee played good. Man, really solid work across the board. If you look at the stats, man, Dynasty is one of those teams that actually they're the team in the professional division that utilizes their roster the most. A lot of teams like Heat plays pretty much the same 5, 6, 7 guys, and the other guys on the squad don't get as many reps, whereas when you look at Dynasty, Rusty Glaze doing a great job of working the entire team in, and that helps out because it helps your depth out, gets the guys the experience, gets them those reps. Obviously, you can't really argue with Heat's success, though. So, I mean, you know, it's just 2 different styles of coaching. But Rusty Glaze doing such an amazing job, really making Dynasty into, if not the hardest working team in paintball, for sure one of the hardest working teams. Those guys, when they go out to practice, you know, they leave before the sun comes up or right when the sun comes up, and they're basically there till the sun goes down. So, San Diego Dynasty looking like one of the favorites. Yeah, that was to be expected.
Yeah, you know, I really like the way they're being diverse in their game plans and how they're actually throwing different players in different spots. You know, they're definitely they're working it out. They're doing what they need to do in order to make the finals coming up on Sunday. But you know, after these messages, we'll come back, talk to you all about that.
Yeah, see you in a second.
Welcome back. I am here with Jason Wheeler from the Russians. That was a pretty hard loss. You guys lost by 5 points. Now, I think everyone is wondering, why did you guys concede that point against Dynasty when you had a chance to get another point on the board?
2 points, coaching error.
All right, coaching error, that is a shame. But you guys do have a history of having a slow start in these matches. What are you struggling with that's causing that?
I don't really understand why we always start slow. We can never come off the bat and just destroy people. Like you said, it's historical, but we've got 3 more matches, win them, and then we're through. So
definitely, this is a really aggressive field on all 3 sides: Snake side, Dorito side, down the center. What do you think is the most important or the best strategy when you're trying to win those points?
I think having a good middle player that can get to the X and shut down a side is something that everyone can move on both sides when you get up to the X and take the pressure off them. So having a good middle player is definitely a fundamental importance.
All right, well, up next is Ironman versus 187. 187 was fighting during that last heat game. They lost 5-4. They're going to be hungry, so we'll see who wins.